Looking for music that lifts your spirit and fills your heart? Experience the powerful sound of the Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square. Now streaming on all your favorite music platforms. Find the Tabernacle Choir on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, Amazon Music, and Pandora. Let the music of the Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square inspire you today and every day. Whether you're at home, in the car, or on the go, enjoy the beauty of their world-renowned sound anytime. The Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square, streaming now.
Best thing that's ever happened to you financially. Go.
Easy. Sold my car on Carvana. Amazing offer.
Really? I hit 200 on a scratcher.
Did the scratcher come to your house and hand you a check?
No.
How many scratchers did you hit to get that? I hit a button on Carvana.com once.
Okay, that's fair.
It's like the lottery, except you always win.
Not like the lottery at all, actually.
Exactly. Inexplicably good. Offers worth bragging about. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
The biggest name.
You're locked on to Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaCombe, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Another busy offseason move today for the Utah Mammoth. John Marino back with the team, an 8-year contract extension. Joining us now, he is the general manager of the Utah Mammoth. It is Bill Armstrong. Bill, we love bringing you on a lot, and you've been a busy man with all these extensions, all these trades, the signings. Congratulations on getting this one done.
Well, thank you. It was a big deal for us. Johnny's a heck of a player for us, and he's probably one of those guys that's really underrated. But he makes your team go, and he's just somebody you can't replace, and we don't have a player like him in our organization. So this is an important contract for us to get and kind of help us to move forward and be good for a long time.
The 8 years stood out to me, joining obviously the contracts with Cooley and Smaltz. Obviously, guys, it's looking like I want to be here, man. It's feeling like, not only do we have a hockey team, but we have guys that want to be here.
Yeah, well, it's an easy place to want to be here. Utah is incredible. I mean, let's be honest. You walk into the Delta Center for a game, and what Ryan and Ashley Smith and SEG have done there is create an incredible rink. It was a place where you watch concerts and basketball, and now it's a hockey rink too.
Yeah.
And they've done a great job at just contouring the stands around it, trimming the ends up. It's loud. It's one of the loudest places. So, for players, they get spoiled.
Looks like we may have lost Bill. We're trying to get him back here. Bill Armstrong, general manager of the Utah Mammoth, right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. By the way, you see video and you see some clips of the renovations going on right now.
How cool does it look? The overhang.
The overhang's going to be absolutely incredible. There's going to be so many awesome elements to this thing when it's all said and done.
It's going to be great, and the pace that they're working on this thing. I mean, they're working day and night against the clock to get it done, and they will. It's just the way we do things around here. But no, it's just like our team, man, building and building fast.
And there's just no rest for the weary at all when they're putting this thing together for sure. But John Marino signing an 8-year contract extension with the Utah Mammoth, that becoming official earlier today. So he's locked in, came to the Utah Hockey Club a couple of years ago, was with New Jersey, then Pittsburgh. It's been really fun watching his progression as a player and what he's turned into because he's just been an absolute force.
Well, he was, he said he's underrated, and this is definitely an underrated stat, but he was second among defensemen in plus-minus last season. So, I mean, a guy that wins individual battles for sure.
Bill Armstrong back with us. And when you're putting together an 8-year extension, I mean, obviously, the immediate short-term health. How hard is it to kind of project where that player is going to be in year 5, 6, 7 of that contract?
That's a great question. I think it's you just kind of go off what's been done in the NHL before, and D-men typically mature later, and somewhere from 20, 28, 29, they kind of hit their peak, and they can run it all the way to like 34, 35, and some guys 36 upwards. And with Johnny, we felt like maybe even longer because of the simple sense that he's only played 300 and some odd games in the National Hockey League, so he's still got a lot of games in him. sometimes when players get a lot of mileage on them, they don't make it, past 1,000 games. And for John, he's hasn't played a lot of games in the National Hockey League, and I think that's also a good thing in the sense I think there's more growth in him still ahead. He's a pretty unique player. Like, he can really move a puck. He's probably our best puck mover. And all the forwards on our team want to play with him. They get the puck at full speed right on the tape, and he's a lead at it. I think the other thing that, you consider when you're signing a long-term deal with him, and, is the fact that, he's a unique player that every time he's on the ice, something good happens. I mean, the plus minus that he had last year is just absolutely incredible. And he's probably one of our favorite teammates on the team, and a really underrated player. And we felt like we get this deal done, this could make us good for a long time.
I know you and Chris have joked in the past that, although you're two Canadians, you have no issue signing a bunch of American players. Another one in the fold, which I love. But the question, Bill, I have for you is urgency. We think all the time, guys in your position, pushing and being urgent. But how important is patience in your job?
Well, it's interesting about the patience factor too. It's, we've got the ability to kind of do both in some areas where we can be patiently developing our players through the minors and then slowly bringing them in when they're at the NHL standard and they can make an impact, and we're not being crippled by sometimes too many young guys, and then you can't get into the playoffs. So we're pretty patient in developing our players. I think we have some urgency when it comes to wanting to take the next step. I think there's players that are the Anders Lees and the Vinny Trocheks and the Lawson Krause and the Keller and the Schmoltz. They want to win. They're at the age to win. And they're not looking around going, hey, I can't wait for all the young guys to come here. They want to win now. So I think we can do both. We can have the urgency and try and create that with our group up top, that our window is here to win. And at the same time, underneath, the TJ Ginlas, the Caleb Denories, the Lamoureux, the Smiths of the world, the Harabels, we've got a lot of good prospects in the American League that will, they'll come in and compete for a job. And if they end up in the American League, we'll have some patience in developing them.
So Marino sets new offensive highs in assists, points, game-winning goals, multi-point games, scored his first playoff goal in that game 2 against Vegas. We talk about how much room he has to grow. How about from the offensive side, the room to be able to grow in what he's able to offer in that side?
Well, he doesn't get a lot of credit sometimes because, when you're coming out of the zone, he makes the play and then it moves up to the forwards and they kind of, they kind of are in transition and they attack, and we wouldn't have got out of our zone if he didn't, put his stamp on it. But I still think there's room for improvement with his shot. Him and I talk about it along with the coaching staff and trying to grow his shot a little bit. And I think he can do that. I still think there's a player sometimes when you go and, you get to the point where you get traded the first time, traded the second time, and then all of a sudden on the third time, you're like, okay, I understand some of my weaknesses that I got to get better. And I think he's one of the kids that I've been, proud of the fact that he simply goes home in the summer and tries to take another step. He's comes back bigger and stronger, and he wants to win. So it was a huge signing for us.
Evening. Buyer's remorse. Buy a new car? I'll be moving in. Let's get started.
Sorry, I think there's been a mistake. I bought it from Carvana.
You what?
Yeah, great price. I even have 7 days to love it or return it.
So there's no...
No buyer's remorse. More like buyer's rejoice.
I guess I'll let myself out. Congratulations. I mean it.
Buyer's rejoice. Buy your car today on Carvana.
Limitations and exclusions may apply. See our 7-day return policy at Carvana.com.
Before we came on, I threw, anybody have any questions for Bill? And Don Eisenbarth tweeted in and said, you got any more of those 8-year contracts? I don't know if he can play or not, but I'm just doing him a solid by asking the question. We often talk about, the fact that the window, I feel like this has been a rebuild, but do you feel like we're at a schedule, Bill? Do you feel like on schedule for where you thought this would be at this time? Where are your thoughts on that?
I do. We always predicted in our model when we were, going and slowly becoming better. That in our 5th year of it, which was last year, we'd make the playoffs, and we did. I think the team is, you're not going to camp as much. We have 2 or 3 young kids that will push to make the team, but the majority of our team is there already. You're not going in, I wonder who's going to play with who. It's Nate Schmidt and John Marino are going to play together. Sergey and Weegs are going to play together, and Veggie's going to start. So we're getting into that era where guys are showing up at camp and they know, hey, we got a pretty good team here, boys. It's time to roll. It's there's not so many tryouts and figuring out who goes where. Clayton Keller, where he goes, where Nick Schmaltz goes, and where Krauser goes. And so we're getting to a good era of our team, and our expectations are to make the playoffs. It's a hard thing in the National Hockey League just to make them. But now we're at that expectation level where we made it last year, and now we expect to get in every year, and we're going to be pushing all the time from behind the scenes. And you can feel that with our guys. I think when you make some moves like we did and get the Andersley and the Trocheks and the Kostas of the world, and all of a sudden they're coming into Utah, people are like looking around going, hey, all the guys on the team are going, hey, they think we got a chance here, boys. And I remember as a player when that happened to me, I had great faith, and I'm like, they think we can win this. Like, there's a belief here, and I feel like that.
How much does it help your state of mind when you sign a guy to a contract coming off a year where he played 80 games because he was such a fixture for you in that lineup?
Well, it's always a positive thing when you got some guys that go in the lineup and play close to all 82. It's a good thing, and it's hard when you don't have your guys in the lineup. It's hard to win, and there's no excuses in the National Hockey League. I think we've built some great depth this year with our group. I feel like, if this happens, that happens, we've got some depth. And I kind of like, nobody really remembers the injuries at the end of the year. Like, no one comes, oh, so sorry you didn't make the playoffs. Yeah. You had 3 injuries in the month of December that really crippled you. Like, nobody cares. Like, it's next man up for us. And as long as you got the depth and the young guys that'll come up and fight, and that's what I love about where our team is right now. We got some depth on our team, and you need guys to play all 80, but if they don't, or 84 this year, if they don't, then you get a chance with some depth. And I like the depth that we've built on our club.
Yeah, you mentioned, when we finished the year last year, some of the things you wanted to try to address was a little more veteran voice, that physical, chippy, nature on the defensive side. Do you feel like the things you've wanted to address, you have?
Yeah, I think with Anders Lee, he's a big physical guy, that can come in and really play with good players. The other thing, too, is I think when you add in like Lamoureux's got a chance to come in and play. You got Simashev, he's like 6'5", 230. Daniel Boots, like pushing 6'6", 230. And he's going to be a year older competing for a job. And I do feel like those guys can have impact this year, and they're going to give us some size and physicality and the way that they play and how hungry they are to go at the net. I think we made some strides in just becoming a better team that plays more on the inside and plays harder in front of the net. So I do believe some of the ads we've made have helped us, and the Vinny Trocheks of the world too. He's a savvy player that also goes to front of the net. So I do think the ads that we've had give us a little bit of what we didn't have last year.
So since we've talked, you got a schedule. You'll open up at home against Chicago, and then we pretty much don't see you guys back until January, it seems like. A crazy road start to the season. I guess you could look at that a couple of different ways and say, hey, when we're making our playoff push for seeding, we got a bunch of home games, but then also, you're starting out heavy on the road. What goes through your mind when you see that thing come across the table?
Oh, that's a great question too. Boy, you guys are all good with the questions today. You like a balanced schedule. At the end of the day, everybody's got the same road games, and and make sure that we're competitive through our schedule. And I feel like everybody whines about their schedule a little bit. We're definitely on the road at the start. We've got a battle to make sure we get 500 and above coming out of there. But it's going to be a battle on the road, and the road wears you down too. Like you play 4 or 5 games, your last game on the road, you're just worn down, and it's hard. And sometimes you can misjudge your team because you're like, hey, we don't have any energy, but actually you've been on the road the most in the National Hockey League, and you're grinding with the amount of air travel you're doing. So I feel like, hey, listen, everybody's gonna whine about their schedule. I might as well whine a little bit too. All right.
As you should. Absolutely. Hey, well, we appreciate your time. Congratulations on the signing. You're staying busy as always. We love it, and can't thank you enough for hopping on with us.
Oh, you're welcome, guys. Thanks. Great to see you.
Great to see you as well. There he is, Bill Armstrong, General Manager, Utah Mammoth, right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.